Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris, this is PnwRcMadness, and I got a video for you today, how to install a belt drive setup on your Traxxas XRT. Alright guys, so there's a couple of things I want to show you. This is what you're going to get when you order from my website. You can find these at www.PnwRcMadness.com. Alright, so before I install the belt drive on the truck, I just want to start off with a couple important points. First thing, you're going to need some Loctite. You can use red, you can use blue, you can use green. Just make sure that you have some Loctite. Alright guys, so next thing you're going to want to have, and not to install it, but to remove it, you're going to want to have a small torch. It doesn't have to be this one exactly, but you're going to need the torch to heat up the Loctite to get it off your motor shaft when you decide to remove it. Alright guys, next thing, the pulleys. This is exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get 2 pulleys, whatever ratio you decide, and you're going to get a belt. You're going to get 4 grub screws. They're going to come in a little small bag, and you're going to use Loctite on those as well. Guys, let me stop talking. Let me get this motor out of the truck, and I'll kind of explain to you how to put it in as we go. So let's go ahead and start wrenching. Guys, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of talk through the video and try to explain as much as I can without editing too much from this point, besides maybe a few spots, because I can't always remember exactly, and I'm not writing any of this down, so I'm just going to kind of do it off the cuff. But there's certain things like at the beginning of the video that are important when installing the belt drive. So we'll go ahead and get this thing out of the truck. One thing I noticed this weekend is that at the meet, one of my plugs came undone and arced on my ESC. That's not cool, but that'll happen. All right, so after we do get the belt drive installed, there is really no way to tell how tight or too loose the belt may be, except for my best way to determine that is by ear, you know. So once you get it in your truck and you get it out on the street or the dirt or wherever you're driving your truck, just go ahead and if it makes a whining sound, it's going to be too tight. If what else? If it makes any type of sound, it's too tight, because the belt drive is supposed to be super quiet, and it is super quiet, and your truck should still free roll. It shouldn't act like it has a drag brake in it at all. And what else could I say about the belt? So yeah, once you get the belt in your truck, I will show you the tension kind of that I use with my finger, just to kind of, I guess it's like your initial setup. And then once you do get the belt installed in the truck, you know, I have installed 4 different belt drives in 4 different trucks, and I've actually never really gone back and had to readjust the tension. So make sure you follow the steps closely as far as the Loctite. Oh shoot, my finger's stuck. And we should be good to go. So by the way, you can also get these motor mounts on my website, www.PnwRcMadness.com. We got several colors, 7 different ones to be exact. Okay, so next thing, guys, this is the first time I've actually put a belt drive in the XRT. I sold one to a friend, and he put a 2530 in his truck, and he actually had to shave a little bit off the body. Now it's just the nature of the hobby if you want to run 2530, but he told me he just had to shave just a little bit right there, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Alright, so you're going to want to go ahead and get your gear cover off. Now I want to actually give a big huge shout out to Keith, owner at CalRC. I had a bash this weekend, actually a meet. We do races. Guys, we do races. We're going to actually have a race February 12th at the Lidford Park in Tacoma off of 44th Avenue, I believe it is. Anyways, guys, I just want to show you this too as we're going through this. I try to take the best care of my RC cars because they cost a lot of money. And oh yes, there's actually some sand in there. So we're going to go ahead and take this completely apart. But we'll still show you how to put the belt drive in. I took the truck to the beach, guys, and this is this is proof of CalRC. So let me show you what I do and what I use. All right, quick shout out to CalRC for all your cleaning, maintenance, products, storage, organization, all that good stuff. CalRC, best stuff you can get. Stop using Simple Green, stop using Dawn soap, all that just strips your RC parts of all the organic materials inside them. This stuff is formulated just for RC cars, works awesome. So I'm actually super stoked about this and excited to show you guys this. So this is the pinion. I've been to the beach. All right, when I got home, the beach, you know, I was quite surprised because I wrapped my chassis in plastic, but I do see some sand in there. Just a little bit of sand. All right, so I went to the beach, came home, sprayed my truck down with water, cleaned it really well, and I actually still have the gear cover. Where's the gear cover? Okay, I'm still running the gear cover with the gears. I just cut the backside out. So all I did was spray a bunch of water in there, and then I used my CalRC Turbojet Blaster and this product right here, guys. So this is Mousse Slick. I blasted a bunch of Mousse Slick in there, and check it out. There is no rust. There's actually a slight bit of rust right there, but it is metal. That's not bad. So that's about 4 cleanings on the truck. All right, guys, let's keep wrenching. All right, so we got the lower gear shaft out of the truck. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and take the cush drive completely off. And I like to just go ahead and put this in a plastic sack, put some Mousse Slick on it, put it away, save it for later. Have a 2-step process, so you take that off. Make sure you keep your parts. Sometimes these get stuck on there. Oh, there's a pin. Guys, there's a pin under there. Don't forget about the pin. All right, so you're not going to use that pin for your pulley. So take your pin, take your cush drive, put all your pieces back together. And like I said, just go ahead and stash that somewhere. All right, so I want to show you real quickly. I do Loctite the grub screw on the pinions. I don't Loctite the actual pinion to the shaft on the motor. But when you do Loctite your pinion, your pulley to the shaft, like I said, you're going to want to go ahead and torch it off. I just heat up the end of the shaft for about 2-3 minutes. And then I use this little tool right here. So you might try to find this tool right here. It's got a little bend on the end, and I just pry right off the motor screw and it comes right off. So just like that, you're not bunging up your motor mount. There we go. So next thing we're going to do is mount up the pulley. Now I've done this so many times, I can just do it by eye now. All right, guys, one last thing. Not one last thing, but one more step in making sure that you're mounting up your pulleys and they don't slip. Guys, if you do this correctly, you should have no slippage. So go ahead, go to CalRC.com. You can find yourself this MooClean. It's industrial grade electrical cleaner and degreaser. Now what I like to do is spray a little bit on the rag. Use gloves if you decide to get this on your fingers because it's not good for your hands. All right, so go ahead, spray some on a rag, guys. Check this out. So we'll go ahead and clean off the stock shaft. Don't get any of that in your bearings because it will clean your bearings out. All right, so the stock shaft is clean, and we'll go ahead and just put a dab right there. It doesn't have to be a lot. That's actually a little much. I'll have to heat it up a little bit longer. Okay. And then again, there is no flat spot. And this is the part where I just kind of put it on there. I stick my grub screws in the pulley. I don't really tighten them down or start wrenching them down yet because I have to get it in place on the truck. So I'll show you how to make that adjustment next. All right, so before you stick your pulley in, your shaft, you're going to have it mounted up like this. There's going to be one more little cover that you have to take off the truck. Just a little extra added protection that Traxxas puts in there. All right, so you're going to pull this out. I just had a guy ask me about this today, so I'll show you. This little cover right here is going to come right out of the truck. All right, so next you're just going to grab your setup, make sure your gear's on there correctly and your bearings are sitting in there. I like to add a little bit of grease around the race of the bearing. That way when water does get in there, it doesn't form rust. Here is the next step. You're just going to take your motor. Where'd the motor go? Okay, you're going to take the motor, set it in place. All right, so I've actually got some room. I'm going to move it over. All right, so I've kind of eyeballed it. I've got the motor pushed all the way to the stop in the chassis. I've got the pulley sitting down tight with my fingers. All right, guys, so from this point, I've got the lower gear just pressed down with my finger. I got the motor shaft pushed all the way forward, and I can see that the pulley can actually move this way about 2 millimeters. Now this is only because I moved the rotor in this motor in the stator, but typically that's where it should go exactly. So we're just going to go ahead and bump this forward and continue the installation. Alright guys, so since we got that where we want it to go, we're going to go ahead and just make sure these are nice and snug, the grub screws. Go ahead and tighten those down all the way. Remember, we got Loctite in there. Okay, so next thing you're going to do is you're going to grab your lower shaft, grab your belt, stick your belt on there. Make sure you're kind of working it into the grooves. Go ahead, stick it in there. Now this is the next step, guys. You're going to go ahead and put your gear cover back on. Now when you do put your gear cover back on, you're going to want to use longer screws. I like to use longer screws in all of the holes but this front corner right here, I believe it is. I'm not sure, you can figure it out, but definitely put some longer screws in that, only because the belt gives a little bit more resistance, and it's quite possible that it could pull the cover loose, but I've never had that happen. So we're just going to use the stock cover, put it back on. Once you got everything situated in line, you just take your motor, go ahead, wrap it underneath the pinion. All right. Now it looks like that is a perfect alignment. We got the spur gear in line with the pinion. Now all we have to do is adjust the belt. So let's go ahead, loosen the screws on the motor mount, raise the motor up, and we'll go ahead, tighten it back down, and we should be good to go. The thing we're going to do is tension the motor belt, tension the pulley belt down. So all you got to do is take your handy dandy 7mm wrench. Now we have not even loosened this yet. Oh, that's tightening it, Chris. So go ahead, loosen up your motor. So just loosen that up just enough. Try not to scrape up your motor. Okay, so then you just go ahead and pull that up. Now check this out, guys. So right now I've got it fairly snug. You can see I'm not really pulling on it, and when I do pull on it, it actually straightens the belt out. So we don't want to straighten the belt out. I want to leave a little bit of a bend in the belt. And I'm just going to go ahead, simple as that, tighten it back down. Okay, we're just about there. Get the batteries charged up and plug the motor back in. All right, guys, so that is it right there. We got it installed. Now that could be a little bit too tight, I believe. I'm not quite sure yet. It looks pretty good. It actually feels really good, this beastie KP motor. Alright guys, so hey, thanks for watching my video. I really appreciate your guys' support. If you could, please do leave me a like and a subscribe in the right hand corner. And then one last thing before we end the video, I'd like to talk about, now since I took that off, I don't believe, yeah, see, the stock cover is not going to fit. Guys, you could probably go ahead and find a cover on Vidavon. There are plenty of guys that 3D print spur covers for belt drives. Sorry I don't offer one of those yet. So anyways guys, stay tuned for the run video. I'm super stoked. This motor is going to rip. And thanks for watching the video, guys. Remember, like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Whoosh.